Good morning, guys. I'm having my coffee. I think today's the day I'm going to try to show you how to cut my hair. I'm going to try to set it up in my bedroom, bathroom, just no good lighting unless I decide to buy a tripod and a little extra light in there. Because one of the lights is hooked up to the fan. I did a sample video. If I try to do that to have enough light and hear the fan, you can't hear me really talk. So I'm going to do it in my bedroom. It's going to seem kind of old school, but that's just is what it is. I just wanted to share because it's a really frugal thing. Weird angle here this morning on this, and excuse the morningness of my face. It's probably poofy and weird, and you know, having my friend coffee there. But I wanted to show you kind of where it's at. Here it is. I'm just going to kind of show you. I like to cut it wet, so I'm going to grab my shower first. Let's see. Comes about down, I don't know, mid-chest length. I cut it once a month, usually, just to keep the ends in good shape. I don't know, cut about an inch. When you cut the hair the way I cut it, I do just, I'm showing here, well, I'll explain in there. But anyway, I just kind of pull it into two chunks and cut them. When you have your hair like mine all one length, I mean, there's no layers in this. You can put layers, that's real easy too. But I like it one length because I like to do braids and things like that, twist it up so it's easier one length. You can really go any length. You can go pretty far up to, I mean, I've had my, I think I said in another video, I've had it all the way down to my belly button before, but that's too much length. As I'm getting older and grayer, my hair's getting a little thinner and a little scraggly, especially kind of in the front here. I think it's just part of aging. You know, my baby hairs are really kind of getting thin at this point. This type of cutting your hair is super easy. You just pull your hair straight and pick the length, and as long as you can get your hair around to the front, you can go pretty short. You know, you can do it long or short. If it's long, just cut what you want. I'm going to trim today, maybe an inch, maybe even two. Sometimes I like it all the way up to my collarbone, but you could really kind of cut a bob as long as you can still hold on to your hair. And, you know, you could cut as high up as you want. I wouldn't go much higher than maybe, I guess, a longer bob here, because then it's hard to manage the back area. But because I like my hair longer right now, I just cut it towards the front. When you pull your hair toward the front like this, you're technically what do they call that? Redirecting the back of your hair. So you're putting tension to the forward. And the shape that's going to give you, like when you throw your hair all back, it's going to be a nice gentle U shape. And that's fine for me. Some people like a blunt cut where it's totally straight. If you want your hair like that in the back, I would ask your spouse or something to I would go ahead and cut it like this. And then when you swing it in the back, your spouse can see the little angle of the U and kind of, you know, trim it a little more. But I don't mind a U shape. I think it's very natural. So, all right, well, I'm going to grab a shower, finish my coffee, and meet you in the bedroom. Here's the tools and supplies today we'll need for our at-home haircut. Like I mentioned, I like to cut my hair wet or damp, so I got a little spray bottle here. What this is, here's a frugal tip for you today. Here's the Aussie leave-in conditioner. This is just an empty spray bottle they had. I take the Aussie conditioner and I fill about a quarter into an empty spray bottle and then add the rest with water. That's enough moisturizing for me. If I use this on its own, it's a little too rich to use every day, because I like to kind of, on the days I don't wash, re-wet my hair. And so this is the product I'm going to use. I'm going to start cutting it out of the shower, but it may dry a little bit while we're working with it. So this is just in case I need to spray it again. Other things you'll need, if you've got long, thick hair, you might want a hair tie. I do not, but I'll show you what I use that for. A decent pair of hair cutting scissors. I like to use a comb that has kind of a thicker and a thinner end, just because for precision reasons. This is just my detangling comb. This is a really good one from Goody. It's kind of interesting. It's shaped interesting, but for my hair, this glides right through when it's wet without, you know, causing any rips, snarls, or tears. I'm going to use that right when I'm out of the shower to kind of separate and get my hair ready, and this will be for the fine tuning. And then if you care about the back of your hair, you might want a mirror to kind of check as you go. All right, well, there's that. Let's get started with the haircut. Hi, here we are. Welcome to my bedroom. Let's get this haircut done. Freshly out of the shower. Let me show you my bedroom. Here it is. Pretty plain and simple. Excuse the lighting. I know it's cruddy lighting in here, but the bathroom is worse. The only light I have in there is hooked up to the fan, so you won't be able to hear me. All right, well, let's get this thing off my head. All right, here's the hair. Pretty wet. Fresh out of the shower. I'm going to take this concoction, which is half of some liquid conditioner, spray my hair down so I can comb it out. I'm going to focus more on the ends. Top of my hair is pretty good, but the ends are dry. Even though we're cutting them off, you know, and I'll comb them out. Okay. Okay, for this hair cut, what you're going to want to do is part your hair in the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect. Here, let me comb it out real quick. My hair type is fine and thin. If your hair is pretty thick, you know, cutting it like this may be a little more difficult, but for me, it works out really good. It's just fine. All right. Got most of the tangles out. I'm going to part it down the middle. Here, I'm going to use my glasses for this part. There's a mirror in front of me, and I am using the screen a little, so excuse my darting eyes. All right, I'm going to kind of stand up. I put it here so you'll be able to see where I'm cutting, but part it down the middle. Does not have to be perfect. You're just wanting 2 hunks of hair. And I'm going to split the back down the middle too. Reasonably accurate because you want the chunks you're dealing with to be about the same. The reason I part mine in the middle is because sometimes I switch my part around. I don't always keep my part to the side. Sometimes I like a center part. Not very often, but sometimes I do. You're going to comb it all out nice and sleek. First with this wider tooth comb. Okay, and then I'm going to use this other comb I have. It has 2 different widths. There's a bit of a wider and a bit of the thinner. Just going to comb it all through with the wider side first. My hair texture, I mentioned I was fine and thin, slightly wavy, even though when it's wet, it looks straight. When it dries, it starts to curl up, and I've got lots of gray hair that's a different texture. Okay, it's all combed out good. That part's kind of important because you don't want to miss any hair. Let's see where we're at today. Okay, like I mentioned, I cut once a month. When I'm not wanting my hair to grow out, about once a month is good. Usually it can cut off about 1 inch, and that'll keep it in the same range. I'm not going to go super short today. You know, I do like to twist my hair up. It's still hot, so I need a little bit of length to be able to twist it up and do buns and things like that. But, you know, the ends are getting a little frayed. You won't be able to tell because it's wet. One of the things that happens when you're growing your hair out, if it gets thin on the ends, it's usually because you're not trimming it. You don't have to trim a lot. Let's say you want to grow your hair out. When it gets split and frayed on the ends, it'll break off, and so your ends will look real thin. So you can do what they call dusting, which is just taking the teeniest, tiniest little bit off like that just to even your ends. But I'm going to go a little bit more than that today. I think I'm going to go about 1 inch. It's been a good length. I don't remember if I did it. It's best if you're going to do it once a month to either tag it, do it on the first of the month or the last of the month. That way you don't forget. Okay, everything's smooth and pretty, looking good. And this is all you do. There's a couple ways you can do it. If your hair is thick, see, my hair is not thick. This is all I have. It's pretty thin. So I can literally hold this with 1 finger. If your hair is really thick and you've got a lot to cut, you'll want to go ahead and use a hair elastic. Put it in your hair, slide it down to where you want to cut, and cut that off. But I don't need to do that. So I'm just going to decide the length. I do a couple, you'll see me combing it a lot. That's just because I don't want to miss any hairs, and I'll do some checking. There's some stragglers back there. I'm going to have to look in the mirror a little better than, there's a hunk there. Okay, I got all the hair, and I'm actually going to get ready to cut. You want to put a little bit of tension on it. So I run the thin end, the very thin. I mean, this is thin. It won't focus, stupid camera. But anyway, run the thin end. Now, pay attention to what you're doing with your head. Just keep it the same. You know, if you're going to look up, just look up the whole time. I forget which way it goes. If you look up a little, I told you it would have a U shape. The U will be a little less pronounced. If you look down because you're pulling the hair, giving more tension this way, it'll be the opposite of that. But I just try to keep my head pretty level. And I gather all the hair, and we're actually going to go ahead and cut it now. I keep that tension. I run my fingers down and smooth it. I'll try to get a little closer as I'm cutting. I got to decide. I'm going to go, that's maybe about 1.5 inches. That sounds good. And I'm looking in the mirror and cutting you. I'm going to try to keep the tension good on it, but you can cut it multiple times. And then you just cut that hunk off. Cut below your fingers. Never, okay, internet problems that people do. Sorry, I'm going to redo that. is they want to cut above their fingers. Don't cut above because you lose the tension and the hair starts to pop out and then you don't know what you have. Always cut below your rubber band or your fingers if you're using your finger. All right, we're going to cut it. Cut straight across. Just get it as straight as you can. Believe it or not, it does not have to be perfect. Okay, a lot of people will do something called, here, let's show you. I'm going to go one more time because it looked like I missed a little hunk in there. I just try to keep the tension the same and everything the same. That way it works out. Here. It's not as complicated as I'm making it in the bathroom. It takes like 3 minutes, but out here trying to worry about how I'm cutting it, showing it. Yeah, there's a little end on there. Okay, and that is it. There's your haircut. Okay, there it is. Here's the other side. The hardest part is matching it up because obviously you don't want to have 2 different lengths. So my advice is go a little shorter. I'm pretty okay with this. If you're totally unsure and you're scared you can't make the same length, like here's how much I cut off just for reference. Almost 2 inches. I'd say that's about 1.5 inches. And that's all dead and thin and you know, your hair will look thicker and nicer. So there's a couple things you can do if you're afraid. You can kind of pull it to the center and use that as your guide. My hair is thin enough to do that and I may do that. Or you can just comb your hair out and eyeball it. I tend to eyeball it first to get the big hunk off. Hold on, I need my better comb. Okay, and I'm gonna eyeball it about the same length. And it's okay, if I don't make it exactly the same, you know, you can fix it. I'm never afraid to do it. I kind of measure. Okay, that's about the same. Maybe down just a little. Okay, and again, just cut it straight across. Okay, and that's pretty close. I'll check it here in a minute. I want to talk to you about some things that people like to do if you see how to do DIY cuts on the internet. I like mine blunt and I like mine all one length. Okay, a lot of people will do this thing, I'm just checking the ends, called point cutting, where, well, I dropped it, sorry. A lot of people do these things called point cutting. Let me show you what that is. I didn't mean to drop it. I guess it doesn't matter how perfect it is because I'm not point cutting. All right. So there it is. A lot of people will do this thing where they, I swear it doesn't look that bad, where they take their scissors, I'm going to reaffirm that in there, and they'll cut straight up into it like this. I don't do that because that'll give you kind of wispy ends, and the whole reason I trim my own hair so I don't have wispy frayed ends. I don't like that look. If you're doing layers, it's good because you can blend it. Okay, you can see my hair's already wanting to curl. I think this side may be slightly longer, but I'm going to check. I'm going to do the pulling it in the middle thing and cut it from there. That usually can solve that problem. So gather all the hair as best as you can. You're going to look like you have a little beard. Again, you know, I'll check it a day or two after. You pull it all down. If your hair's too thick to do this, go ahead and put the rubber band in it. Keep it in the center of, here's my head, you know, the center of your face so you can see. Yeah, it's a little jaggedy, but that's okay. Just cut it straight off. Those tips will all line up. I can't tell if I'm in the frame. I'm not in the frame. Sorry, guys. Wonky, wonky. Okay, and that's it. That is the haircut. 1.5 inches gone. Feels nice. You won't be able to tell with it wet what it's going to look like in the back, but I'll turn around just a little bit anyway. It'll have to dry for you to really see how it's going to lay. All right, that's good. Take off my glasses. Okay, now what I do to style it is really simple. I'm going to put a little bit of this on the bottom today. It's 100% aloe, just because I cut it and the ends are kind of open. I mean, it doesn't technically seal it. Your hair's dead, you know, but it'll just help it lay a little better on cut day. And just run some in the ends. You can use oil, coconut oil. Coconut oil, oils are in general too heavy for my hair. I like this one product. It is an oil, it's a spray oil. It's real light. I forget the name of it. It's OGX. It's a coconut spray oil. I can't use any thick oils. And the other thing I use is a little bit of gel. I'm trying to find the brand. There's the gel I use. It's normally a little bit darker than this. I added some water because it was too thick. I mean, it still turned out into gel. This is flaxseed. You can add a significant amount of water and it will still gel up, but it was a little too thick for my hair because it's fine and thin, remember? I take a little dollop. I don't know if that will show on camera. Just a little bit. I'm gonna rub it on my hands and put it through my hair, especially up by my hairline. Sorry, especially up by my hairline. And again, just put it on the ends, flip it over, make sure it's all through. Okay, it's in there. Let me use my little, if you saw, I use a t-shirt in my hair. It's just softer. Wipe that off. And then I'm gonna just part it. I like it parted on the side. Like I said, sometimes I do a center part, but I only do that if I'm gonna flat iron and stuff. It's hard to do. My hairline isn't as nice as it used to be. My baby hairs and stuff are all gray now and they're wiry. And that is why I use a little bit of gel. Mousse works too. I like mousse, but right now currently I have the gel. What this does is basically you comb it out. You're basically, my light's bad. You're basically wet setting your hair. And what that'll do is when you start to have gray hairs, they all start to get wiry and pop out and they're different lengths and stuff. But you can see how smooth, maybe, you probably can't. You can see how kind of smooth the gel will help smooth all of that out. You're telling your hair where to go. And what I do, just comb it all out like that. Get the tops and all these little weird things by my ears, all this gray hair that's slightly shorter and wirier. With the gel in it, it'll hold it flat while it's drying. Now, if I want my hair to be a little, I have wavy hair, I can scrunch it up and make it look really curly, or if I comb it out real good, it'll look slightly straight, but I tend to wear it in between. So I can just let it air dry like this and it'll start to get some wave. But another thing I like to do when I put gel in it is just take it and I literally just twist it. I twist it into this little twisty ponytail. And I take that little twisty ponytail and put it right against my neck and it'll stay there. Now, if I let it dry like this, that puts a little tension here, pulls all those crazy hairs down, and then this will give it a little wave in the end. And that's my DIY haircut in how to set your hair. Hope you enjoyed it. It will save you a lot of money if you do this, you know, yourself once a month. I don't even know. I've been cutting my own hair for 25 plus years. I mean, I don't even know what haircuts cost anymore, but this cost me nothing, you know. So, all right, well, take care. Have a great frugal day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys. Here's the aftermath of filming how to cut my hair. I just wanted to show that it really wasn't that much. There it is. Pretty easy to clean up. Just, you know, wipe that up, throw it away. Anyway, here's what I was dealing with. I told you I wasn't going to buy a tripod. There's my little taped together tripod. I set it on some books. It's okay. And here's why it was so hard, because I have this big giant mirror. It was just weird to film in the reverse like that. So yeah, I just thought it'd be cute to show you what was behind the scenes. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye. Here's the hair dry now. It's been about an hour. My hair takes a little over an hour to dry. It might still be damp a little bit in the back, but I've left the twist in and it's kind of just dried. So here's all I do. I kind of floof the twist out, run my fingers through it, and there it is. There's the haircut. I'll try to go around the back a little. I'm not sure it'll be in frame. It's kind of wavy, so I'm not sure what it looks like. But there it is. Fresh new haircut. Ends feel good. Everything looks thick and nice. It's plenty long enough to put up, you know. I do the little twisty clippy thing where you get twisted. I like to do buns and ponytails, and this is a good length. It's a little longer than collarbone. All right, well, I hope that helped any of you guys today, and it's a nice frugal thing to save money. You might give it a try once or twice. I mean, don't be afraid. If you mess it up, you can always go get it fixed. I know everybody gets scared about doing their own hair. And like I said before, if I had a complicated, like cute angled bob or some brush cut with lots of layers and short, I probably wouldn't cut it by myself, although I think you can learn. When my boys were young, I used to use clippers and cut their hair. I'm sure it might be more difficult to do it on yourself in the back. The back's always the problem, but because I pull my hair to the front, it's really quick, easy, and simple. All right, well, I encourage you to try that today if you've never done it, and take care. Have a great day, everybody.